From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoucher.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm John.
Hey, y'all are. Cajun Rob here hanging out with you. And quick note, especially out to our buddy Jay Angel down there in Louisiana and all the folks in the parishes. We know a hurricane's coming to you, so y'all be careful and batten down and get out of if you have to, because it's going to get kind of rough down there. So thoughts and prayers, all you guys down in the parishes, and I think we're getting y'all's rain this weekend. So y'all hang in there, and y'all want to throw some prayers and hope everybody comes out all right and not too much damage.
Yeah, just don't do stupid stuff.
Yeah, don't go surfing while the hurricane's going on. Hurricane parties, nothing like that.
I think we might know a guy that might want to try that. But
yeah, but I think he's already headed north, so I think he has done the wise decision.
Yes. And welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, guys, I had a little bit of a long day, a little 12 or 13-hour day, and I was getting over a sinus or a cold. So So I had to have one night off, but I said my partner knows me better than I do, so he knows I was like half dead. I got home and I crashed. I was out. Pew! I was out.
As long as you didn't crash before you got home.
No, I didn't crash till I get home. I got home and then I was out.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about one of Rob's more used baits and one of the baits I don't ever throw. I think I've thrown it maybe 15, 20 times in my life. You're laughing at me.
Hey, I just know it gets bites, man. I might not like it, might not love it. I don't hate it. I just know it gets bites.
All right, that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
We're gonna have Josh Nelson come on in a second here and talk to us. He's from Ohio area. Going to talk to us about fishing the Ned rig. They say that if you're in smallmouth water, you need to throw the Ned rig or a drop shot. Well, I started out with the drop shot and stick with the drop shot, I should say.
But sometimes if you drop shot a Ned bait, I've seen that work really well.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes. So let's welcome Josh to the show, and hopefully I can learn something to convince me to throw this bait once or twice a year.
How's it going?
Hey, Josh. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. How are you guys? I'm good.
Yeah. Tell Mr. John there if it's like 1 o'clock and you got no fish in live well, pull out the Ned rig. I'm just saying, just pull it out.
Ned rig, yeah. The Ned rig does the work for you, so
it does. It does. It's almost like a Cinco. It's like a mini Cinco. I mean, it works. Can't explain it. It just works.
There you go. Now, Josh, the last time we had you on, I think it was my boat accident, right?
Yeah, I think just me and Josh. Yeah. We had a good time though.
We don't know each other very, except for through social media. But welcome to the show. Glad you could make it this time. Glad I could be here this time, I should say.
Thanks for having me back on.
Yes. Yeah.
So, for some of the people who don't know who you are or anything like that, can you give us a little background about you?
Yeah, my name's Josh Nelson. I live in Port Clinton, Ohio, right on the shores of Lake Erie. Our claim to fame is the islands out there, which is just a phenomenal fishery, smallmouth, walleye, perch. It's just a blast out there. I've been fishing for about 10 years now. Well, I started fishing when I was a little boy, and then I stopped for quite a while. I picked it back up about 10 years ago. I fish our local bass club. Years past, I fished in BFLs, Bassmaster Open, and all that. So other than when I'm not fishing there, I like to just get out on the water whenever I can. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
All right. So tonight's show is going to be about Ned rigs.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I'm a professional Ned rigger, by any
but you want to get better at it.
Yeah.
I want to expand my horizons.
Okay.
So if you don't mind talking to us about what kind of rod, reel, and stuff like that, line.
So I like, when I'm throwing a Ned rig, I like to keep it simple. I throw a 10-pound fluorocarbon, tactical fluorocarbon. I've messed around with the braid to fluoro leader. If you get into deeper water, the only thing I don't like about it is if you don't have the right leader size, and you got some current, the water will grab that braid and it'll move it. And there's times when you're throwing a Ned rig, you don't want the bait to move or you want very minimal action on it. So I really don't like that. So I found what works best for me is straight fluorocarbon. Normally between a 611 and a 7.1 medium action rod. And then the size I had, like I was saying earlier, is, in my opinion, the most important thing to this bait being productive. So I only throw basically 3 sizes: a 1/8, a 1/10, a 3/16, actually 4 sizes, or a 3/32 I've been playing with. That seems to work really well as well. So.
Yeah, like I said, that braid, I know, you probably get a lot of wind where you're at. That wind gets wind knots in that braid like crazy. I don't care what braid you use, you're going to get wind knots.
Anywhere along Lake Erie or the tributaries that I fish, even when it looks calm, there's still some sort of an undercurrent moving. And I've just found personally that when you unless you have the right size leader on there, if it catches that braid and moves your bait at all, it can really kind of hurt what you're doing. So that's why I just prefer straight fluorocarbon when I'm throwing a Ned rig.
Now that makes sense. The first time I ever heard somebody talking about the undercurrent and stuff like that with the braid moving it, but you're right, that does make sense, even with a drop shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But of course, I mean, when I'm throwing a drop shot, I'm throwing 90% of the time I'm throwing 1/2 ounce weight. So, but like with you're throwing the Ned rig. I mean, I think the lightest I might have is a 1/4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep 1/5 as the heaviest I carry in my tackle bag. And the only time I'll throw that is if we're fishing a deeper reservoir and there's a little wind, and I do that just to get it down. But most times I'm going to start with a 1/10 and adjust from there. So obviously if it's greater than 10 to 15 feet, I'll throw that 3/16 off the get-go, but other than that, I don't vary my sizes up much. So,
yeah, and everything with the fluorocarbon, I've kind of learned or figured out. I think you're more sensitive with the fluorocarbon. I know that braid, if you don't have it kind of tight, the fish can hit it and you pull up. Hey, there's weight. So I know more times than not, you'll feel a tap or anything a little different, a little better with the fluorocarbon. So right on that.
You still have that or the what do you call it? You can still feel all your bites and everything.
Yeah.
There's no difference from the braid, at least that I've found out. So,
and especially you fishing shallow, your leader's out 5 foot out of the water, and it's just really awkward. So that's one of my favorite fishing shallow. Just straight on braid. So
all right. Barking Rugers is on the road northbound. Turned up, tuned in, and hammer down.
Nice.
Hey, good plan, my man. Be safe, man. Just be careful because everybody's going to be northbound and down for sure.
Yep. Sounds like we got some Smokey and the Bandit rolling here.
Yeah, they probably do coming out of there right now.
Right.
Yeah. I've seen it in New Orleans before. They have the interstate, and they'll have like both sides of the interstate all go in the same direction, one way out.
Oh, wow.
They'll have so much traffic. Yeah, that's crazy.
I saw that one night coming back from the bar.
No, that was a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, we were dodging dodging a car, one car on the wrong side of the road, and I wasn't. So I just can't see using such a light bait like for me fishing the St. Lawrence with all the current.
Right.
Would you raise your bait or the weight or keep it and let the current just naturally take it?
I've never fished there, but if the current's strong, I would probably make sure I have some heavier heads on there just to have a little better control and put it where I want. Up here, we don't really deal much with that other than the winds off Lake Erie.
Right.
They can get some pretty decent current sometimes, but I've found at least where I'm fishing, that 1/5 head is the heaviest I've ever needed to go. So I do have some 1/2 ounce drop shot weights I got when I went up to New York to fish, just in case I needed it. But I've never needed them here in Ohio. So
where'd you go in New York?
I fished the opens at Oneida in, I want to say 21 or 22.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I went up there and fished. So
That day one was pretty rough, wasn't it?
yeah, it was kind of bouncy. So the mornings
Just a little
weren't bad,
bit.
but it picked up through the day. So
Oh man.
That's the one where I lost a 5-pounder trying to scoop them into the boat.
Oh,
yeah, I lost some fish during that. So that was heartbreaking.
It is.
it's gonna happen in a crazy weather like that.
Yeah.
It's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite body of water, by the way. Anyways. So I guess I do you use you said you use a medium action rod?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if I use that for Ned rig and drop shot, that's what I prefer. So I used a medium light before drop shotting, and it didn't feel right, and switched over to the medium action. And of course, I switched my hooks up from that open at Oneida. A lot of it didn't seem like I was getting good hook penetration, so I kind of did some experimenting and got some advice and revamped my whole drop shot outfit. And now I think I got it pretty well honed in. So
nice. Cool.
So what are your favorite hooks for Ned rigs?
I either use the Nudlocks, the Z-Man Nudlocks hooks.
Yeah, they were good.
I throw the green pumpkin. Sometimes I'll throw black, but for some reason the green pumpkin seems more of a matte-like color, and I seem to get more bites on the green pumpkin as opposed to the black. So I either throw those, or I'll throw the Hayabusa.
Yep.
I use jig heads. There's times if I go out on the bank and just want to take one pole and not carry my whole outfit with me, I'll throw that head on because I can throw, Ned rigs or swim baits or whatever I want on that head. So that's pretty nice. Plus, it's got a good hook on there. I don't lose many fish on that. So
yeah, you're one of the guys who talked me into switching over to the Hayabusa.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Ironically enough, my boater at Oneida on day 2 was Kurt Dove. And
okay.
When I was losing fish, and he took a little time out to just give me advice on what I need to look for in a hook. And after that, I tried out a couple different hooks and ended up switching to Hayabusa. And since I haven't lost many fish at all. I know I lost a lot on not only the hooks I was using for drop shot, but when I was flipping, I lost a lot of hooks that probably costed me some money. And after that, it's very rare to lose a fish anymore. So those hooks have really done me good. So.
Yeah, we've got to try to talk somebody else into.
Now, I have tried some of their wacky hooks. I have been pretty impressed with them. They are good quality. I'm getting around. I'm trying. I'm experimenting a little bit. I'm having a lot of fun. Fun.
That's it. That's it right there. Having fun.
Yep,
definitely.
So, what other advice would you give me on Ned rig?
I just play around with the size. I think that's more important than anything. Getting the right size down, figuring out what they want between. There's sometimes when you pitch it out there, which is my fault, is I don't have the most patience sometimes. I always think I got to be doing something with my bait. There's times if you just let it set there, then let it stand up, the natural motion of the water will do all the work for you. Once you figure out the size of head they want, just the color. There was a tournament earlier this year. I went from throwing a green pumpkin. They were kind of maybe hitting on that, but didn't seem like they liked it. And I switched to a solid black color, and that was what it took. So
absolutely.
For me anyway, I started getting bites and putting fish in the boat, and took me from not catching anything to a second place in that. So those are the two big things, just the size of head and then, what color they want. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done good on Dale Hollow early in the year. I'll throw it up shallow and kind of, stair step it down, just slow as I can. And that, I think it looks like a little juvenile crawl, how they'll do it. They'll put their pinchers together. I think it mimics that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And most times, and even if you see any bait fish, you can, Z-Man's most of what I throw, they have something that mimics most of the bait fish. So, between whether it's a goby or a craw or something along those lines.
Absolutely. But that Nedlocks is a good little head too. I've used it a lot because it's so much easier to get your plastics on, because you know how it is on the, you're like get it crooked and you can't get it off, and it's you're fighting an uphill battle.
Just the way that they have that, head on there is.
I've actually had some snip and like snip that little bait holder on there and just like glue the head up. Yeah. That's the deal right there.
To change your baits out.
Yeah, and holds good. It holds good too.
Definitely.
Now, do you push the bait over the weight?
I do. Yep, all the way up.
Yep.
All the way up to where it meets the head, right there.
Yep.
And then it keeps weeds and any other junk from getting in between your bait and the head. So.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
But I used it like you said. I'll start off, just dead sticking it basically.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like that, sometimes they like it hopped around. I've seen some guys swim it just like a steady polishing the rocks. I mean, it's pretty versatile.
Yeah, well, even there's even been times I've just thrown it out and ran it over the top of the weed beds.
Yep.
Just a very slow swim, and they'll come out of the weed beds and eat it. So
yeah,
or get just under the surface of the water, and it's a very.
Or you got one little hole. You got one little hole, and you let it kind of drop down in there, and that's money. That's money.
Yep, they'll come out into that hole and eat that, and that's what we were doing earlier this year. We found the largemouth on the beds, and we'd make super long casts with that bait and land it in that bed, and they'd come out of the weeds into the bed and eat it. If it spooked them, or the one we actually watched that let us get close enough, we were fishing the bed and it took off in the weeds, and then we put it in there and we'd work it near the edge and it'd come out and eat it. And so.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I probably made 20, 25 times my whole life throwing the Ned rig.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I hear people like you and Rob and, they talk about catching fish with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
they catch big ones too. So
yeah,
they catch everything, small, middle. I mean, whatever's in the area, they'll bite it.
Definitely.
And John, I got started on Ned rig. I was kind of like you, hesitant. Then I got a couple boaters that was drop shotting, and I'm like, "What I do?" And I said, "Well, I'll throw this old Ned rig," and I started catching it behind them. So that's what kind of got me started on it.
See, I usually like if my boater's drop shot, and I'll either throw something moving or football head. And Trisha Payne McGraw says, "Hey, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
We're not talking shit."
I knew that was coming.
So when I saw she was on here, I'm like, oh boy. So what is the difference between a Ned rig and a shaky head?
At least what I think, she actually got me started on the shaky head and made me a true believer on that one.
Oh yeah.
Shaky head's a good way to throw a little bit bigger worm and make it do similar things to a Ned rig. Get down there and just let the worm do its business, and you can even, I throw that under docks a lot. I'll keep one of those tied on it for fishing docks. Get a worm down there. But if you let it set, sometimes it'll, at least the kind of worm I throw has a different sort of tail, and it just kind of works back and forth, and it'll drive the bass crazy and make them bite it. It's just a little longer bait. The Ned rig's smaller, more compact, and you can fit it into different places. And when they want something a little smaller, they'll tend to bite that. So
it's like the old Charlie Brewer do nothing. I mean, it just kind of sits there and does nothing.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Drop it in clear water right in front of you sometime and watch what it does. And it does.
It's kind of
that's there. It moves back and forth, and it's amazing.
It is. I said sometimes they like one, sometimes like the other. You just kind of got to experiment, and they'll usually tell you pretty quick. So
definitely.
All right. So what should I like? I saw Mark Zona talking about Ned rig, and he was saying something about he doesn't like some people throw the 4-inch baits. he doesn't throw the 4-inch. He sticks to the regular normal size baits.
Yeah.
Because he thinks it gets some bigger fish.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, most times when you're throwing it, they want something a little more downsized, and they're being a little more picky. So this is the 2.75 is what I start out with. I've got I carry some of the bigger ones, the 4 and the 5-inch, even some different kinds of Ned baits. But most times I start out with that. So occasionally I'll throw a baby Z2 or a Great Lakes Finesse drop minnow on it. But most times I just start out with the Z-Man Finesse TRD and we'll go from there. So
they got a micro TRD now. I think it's like an inch. I mean, it's a little bitty. They just come out with that. A lot of smallmouth guys swear by it now.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, those smallmouth, it's amazing the little stuff that they'll eat. So.
Oh yeah.
Rob saw me shaking my head no.
I don't know. Up there anyway, you throw big stuff at them, and sometimes it tends to they'll snub their nose at it, but you start throwing little baits at them, and they eat it up. So,
absolutely.
That's what I found anyway.
All right. So, I saw.
And in every lake, I found this. I don't know if you found this. Different lakes seems like they have a different color. Like one would be that black. You're talking about yoga pants. One would be like that hot snakes, the dark green pumpkin and the neon green. And then one would be like green pumpkin and orange. There's about 5 or 6 colors I'll try.
Yeah, the hot snakes is great for largemouth up here. We throw that a lot, but there's a couple we start off with right off the bat for just about anything. The green pumpkins, the Kobe style.
So how do you rig it?
I'm sorry?
How do you rig it? If you
Very carefully.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's actually I don't know if you can see that little area right there where the plastic meets up.
Yep.
On the Z-Man. So all I'll do is I'll run the hook right down the middle and pop it out right there. So
there's almost a little channel in the middle. It's kind of hard to find, but you'll kind of feel it.
And then it'll set like that. So.
Yep.
All right. So you put the hook out so it's not weedless?
Yep. I just throw it open hook and it's just that easy. So.
Yep.
I've thrown that EWGs before, and I don't know if you can see it.
It takes a little practice. It takes a little patience, a little practice. Just give you a heads up, but that's perfect. Straight. You want it straight, not crooked, not kinked. Just straight up and down.
Huh.
That's the way I've had the most success on it. So.
Yep. And another tip, if you're not familiar with the Z-Man, do not mix it with your plastics, or you're gonna have bubble gum. You're gonna have bubble gum.
They'll all melt together, and it's a mess to clean up. So
I always leave my Z-Man stuff in the original packaging. That's the best thing I found. You don't have to worry about it.
So as us as co-anglers, so if a boater doesn't treat you right, you mix a bunch of them and put them in the compartment?
I would suggest that. So. No, I hadn't either.
I wouldn't either.
I've been lucky, so
I have to.
Yeah. Of course, I haven't had anybody try to convince me to throw the shaky head either.
Well, when they're catching a fish and you're not, you kind of listen to their advice.
Yeah, after about the 4th, 5th fish, you're like, okay, what are you doing?
Right.
Oh, no, I always know what they're doing because I watch them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yes. So you prefer no braid because of the current?
Correct. That's what I find. So at least for my Ned rig rod, I do the braid the floor on my drop shot, but when I'm throwing a Ned, I think I want to have a little more control over it. And if that braid hits that water and there's any current, it's going to move it. And in my mind anyway, I think the bait's doing what I don't want it to underwater, and it might cost me a bite. So
yeah, and I said, plus I like throwing mine super shallow, so it's just less headache and braid blowing around on you, and you can't tell what it's doing. So that's.
And if you get a snag and break off, then you're retying too many leaders throughout the day, and so Lake Erie's rocks aren't very forgiving. So I really don't like retying leaders when it's 20
No.
mile an hour winds out there. So
No.
New York's aren't either,
yeah,
which you probably found out.
definitely.
Trisha McGraw says it works.
Yeah, it does.
Yes, it
I
does.
agree with that. I agree with that statement.
Absolutely.
Now you mentioned the wide gap hooks.
Right.
I know before the show I tried to show you one. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Ned EWGs or the Ned
Yep.
wide gaps or whatever the company calls it. So
Okay. Well, I was fishing Lake Erie a couple years ago, and one of my buddies says, "Hey, take some of these and throw them."
Mhm.
Is that
Oh,
what
yeah.
you're talking about?
Yep.
yeah, it looks like it. Yep.
Okay. And I'm like, why? We're not going to be fishing weeds or anything like that. He goes, that way you don't get hung up in the rocks as much. And as you can tell, those hooks are all brand new.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How much I didn't use them.
So the only thing I found, I tried them out with the Z-Man, and I found out I've had bites where the hook didn't penetrate through the plastic there.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was me, my rod, I don't know what it was, but at the time I was trying it, I lost some bites on it. That's the only reason. I still have some in case we're going to be doing all grass fishing. That way I can
Right.
just have an option of plucking one in the grass here and there. But most times I'll always do the open hook.
Okay. Yeah, because
So
I'm
if they
going
decide they want to pitch into the grass, I'll fish the grass line or find them little holes in the grass. Or that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah, or you get like a little point where the grass comes out or like goes in. Any irregularity like that, that's like you. That's my first cast.
Definitely.
All right. Because I figure that, I'm thinking if I'm going to try that, because these are, I think, 3/8, quarter to 3/8, just by looking at them. Fishing 15 feet down in the grass, like in the Potomac, and
Mhm.
I think that might be a good purpose for those. Might change the head color a little bit, but yeah, I don't want to sit there and trying to be fighting the weeds off every single
Right.
cast.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be doing that with those. So.
Yeah. So, any other tips or anything like that? I mean,
No,
do you exclusively throw it on a spinning rod?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
you about have to. Have to.
Yeah, me personally, I always do 10-pound, once in a while 8-pound line, but if I'm going after smallmouth, it's always 10-pound. So, because most times you're leafing through freshwater drum as well, and
Yeah.
if you're throwing lighter than 10-pound on this thing, they're just going to run off with your stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you'll get them, but they could degrade your line so much, especially if you're around zebra mussels or rocks or anything like that. The 10-pound seems to hold up a little better. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you say that. I seen the guy to come up with it, Ned Cady, and he said he caught like 100 fish like within an hour or something, and he uses all 10-pound. So that's coming from the master.
Yeah, it seems to work best for me. I mean, because you're going to catch everything on it. So.
Yep.
I looked
Other
to see
than
if I had any.
If you don't, you might want to invest a little bit in them. Just saying.
Other than that, just take a few different colors out, and with these heads, it makes it easy to switch on and off. And once you find the right combination, you should get some bites on it. So.
Yeah, and Z-Man usually how many fish you usually catch on one? I've caught 5, 6, 7, 10 sometimes.
Yeah,
Now-
and if one side gets degraded, I'll just flip the bait around and hook it through the other side and keep fishing it. It can handle quite a few fish on it. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, Rob, you and I don't know each other personally very well, but listening to you talk, you don't catch 5 fish in a year.
I get lucky every once in a while.
He talks about Cherokee and Ohio River and Gunnersville. Come on, there's no fish in those waters.
There's some fish. They may all have names like Ed, Charlie, and Ben, but somebody's got to catch them. Hey, somebody's got to catch them.
No, like I got a good friend up here who throws net a lot.
Yeah.
Michael Bell. You know, he was a
Yeah,
past
yeah.
guest. He throws a Ned rig a lot. I'm like, what do you get him on? He goes, Ned. I'm like, son of a gun. That's not exactly what I responded with.
Yeah.
But you get the gist.
Oh, it's just. But yeah, if like Josh, you know, like you go out there and it's cold, it's miserable, can't get a bite of nothing else, that's going to be my first thing I pick up.
Yeah. Any weather conditions and any time of year. I mean,
Okay.
always have one tied on it. You know, it can definitely get bites. So.
Yep. And I've saw guys that practice. I've seen some guys do this. They'll put a net on the bottom of their drop shot on the bottom, then run a drop shot above it and see which one they bite.
Huh.
That's in practice. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Like with the Opens, the Toyotas, since they have an official practice period and all tournament rules apply, could you get disqualified for doing that since you can't do it in the tournament?
That's kind of a gray area. This was in a BFL, so just saying. It was in a BFL.
No. Angie Kopus. Hey, guys. Hi, Josh.
Hey. Hi.
How's it going?
I was talking to her a little bit earlier. Hope she's not fishing Ohio River this weekend because she's going to try to put her cold tags to work.
Nice.
I mean, there's fish there. There's just not many keepers there. I've learned that.
Well, you're going to need a keeper to put a cold tag on.
That's true.
What kind of retrieves do you use?
It kind of all depends. I'll try to see what the bait fish, like when we start off, I'll try to see what the bait fish are doing, or if you can see any at all. If I don't see any, a lot of times I'll start off dead sticking,
Okay.
just trying to let it set, see if I get anything off that. If I don't, I'll go to a hop or almost a drag on the bottom, drag it a little bit or hop it a few times, let it set. And if it seems like there's a lot of fish activity, I'll start off with it swimming it. I'll let it sink.
Yeah.
Once it gets down there, if nothing hits it on the drop down, then I'll just slowly swim it along rock edges or weed lines or even the bottom and see if that comes up with anything. So it kind of all depends on, what's going on in the water at the time. So.
Yeah, I've had it. Well, I've been reeling it back to the boat, and one gets it. And I'm like, okay,
definitely.
swim it,
Yeah.
Bing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Angie says Ohio River's not that great. I have a river
what I
over
hear.
by me, not that great either. It's called the St. Lawrence.
I'll trade you rivers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll trade you. Oh yeah. All day long. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like I've never fished the Ohio River, but you can go out in the St. Lawrence one day and catch the amount of fish you would in a whole year on the Ohio River, it seems like.
Believe it.
Probably. Yeah.
Wait for sure. But
I think I caught one right there close to Cincinnati. What's that creek they always launch out of? Tanner's Creek. Fished Tanner's Creek at BFL one time. Caught one keeper on a buzzbait. Almost got a check one fish.
Oh my goodness.
And it wasn't that, it wasn't a giant. It was like a 2.5, but almost got a check on one fish.
Wow.
That's all I can say about the Ohio River. It was a long day.
yeah.
Never fished it.
You're not missing anything.
No, I haven't made the 4.5 hour drive down to it. I've heard enough about it.
It's pretty almost true. What have you heard?
Yeah.
Here's the king right here. Here's the king right here.
The whole strategy is to use Jedi mind tricks to get what you want.
Oh.
We used to call that a 1 ounce jig back in the day.
I thought that's what you use for jet skiers to get too close to your boat.
Yeah,
Wing it
either
out.
that or uncooperative boaters.
Yeah. Could be.
But so do you always use a straight bait like that TRD?
No, I'll switch it up. I'll use Baby Z2.
Yep.
Okay.
Started throwing those this year. They've done me pretty well. I've been messing with the Great Lakes finesse baits. Z-Man makes one. It's called the TRD Minnows. It's a straight bait, but it's a little skinnier and has a tail on it. And that thing seems to pick a lot of bites up too. So I'll mess around with those, or I've even thrown a finesse swim bait on this head before and pitch that out there. So
Absolutely.
So
And I've
the
had
net
good
heads
luck.
are pretty. You can use quite a few baits on them, and
Okay.
Yeah,
get
I've
good
had
bites.
like cliff sides, and I throw a Ned, just let it drop down. Now the fish
Mhm.
come out and get it. I mean, just let it drop. Let my bail open up and just let it drop straight down, slow, and something come out and get it. So,
Yeah, because when this falls, it tends to make that spinning motion when it goes down, and sometimes
oh
that's
yeah,
enough just on the drop
yeah,
to get your bites. So
Yeah.
yeah. Especially in cold water, seems like especially.
definitely, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Dave Archibald is in Sandy Cooper. Mike Mueller's on his way down.
Good luck, guys.
Be safe. So what about crawfish? Have you ever thought about throwing anything like that, or?
I messed around with I can't remember what it's called. It's the Great Lakes Finesse, the little mat craw or whatever it is.
Juvie crawl. Is it juvie crawl? I think you got a juvie crawl and something else. Yeah.
I got one of the juvie craws.
Yeah. Okay, it's a bigger one. Okay.
Yeah, I throw that on a tube head, but whatever their little craw is, I've
Yeah.
thrown those, but I still tend to get most of the bites on this one, so that's done me the best, and it's simple, but it works.
The kiss method. The kiss method always
I'll
works.
mess around with some of the other baits, and if they're not getting bit, I'll ultimately go back to the Finesse TRD, and they get the bites. So
Yeah, one of my old sponsors, Bass Snacks, local guy. Corey poured me a bunch of those that style bait there, like the TRD. I used to drop shot them.
yeah,
They work.
definitely.
And Trisha McGraw says use a Zoom speed crawl up there, Josh.
Keep that in mind.
Hey, Zoom has actually got a micro speed crawl just come out about a week ago.
Wow.
Yep, they just come out with it. It's just a downside version. Yep.
Wow.
Hear that, John Adams?
Just saying.
Yeah.
Any secrets you want to give me?
Throw it.
No. Yep. Just throw it. Get out there, lock it in your hand, and throw it. Just don't read too much into this technique. It's honestly, it's once you get used to it and get some confidence with it, it's easy and it gets bites, and you might have to leave through a bunch of junk fish or little fish, but ultimately it catches big ones also.
Yeah. I was fishing the open. Last time I went to James River, day 2 after I straightened up after the boater scared the daylights out of me driving. He caught almost a 5-pounder on it out from underneath the dock.
Yeah, I've caught most of my biggest fish I've caught on this bait. So
okay.
My wife got her PB smallmouth on it. I believe it was like a 536, and I've caught a couple 5s on it. And last year in the BFL, I tried drop shot and I couldn't get anything, but I locked this in my hand on a 3/16 head. And, ended up cashing the check. Between my boater and I think we lost track of how many smallmouth we caught out on Lake Erie, but I think I had close to 15 pounds I caught off of it, and good enough for a check. So.
I had a boater drop shot the little pink one, the little pink TRD like that, and wore them out one time. I think at Cumberland. I think it was at Cumberland.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, if you just lock that in your hand, get confident with it, and at least if you're not getting bit with anything else, start throwing that around, and it could save your day. So.
Yeah, or go out like I did. I went out to one of my local lakes. Not that big a fish, but it's the only thing I took. I took Ned rigged heads and my spinning rod, and I was catching them little ones and decent sized ones. But it does. It's like a bait magnet, and usually when they get it, they run with it. I mean, they'll hit it, and you'll see your line start.
Yeah, yeah. We the break walls going out in Lake Erie. Sometimes I'll just take a rod and throw the Ned rig, and that's it, and have some pretty good days up there. So,
oh, absolutely,
and that's it. You might not even feel the bite; you'll just see your line take off with it.
Especially a smallmouth, they don't play around with it.
No, they don't. They get it with it soon.
Is there any special knot you use for that?
Just a Palomar knot.
Okay.
Just that's all I use. I just try to keep my setup simple. Just use a Palomar knot and check my line. The one thing I do is I check my line after pretty much every cast because I fish around
Yep.
a lot of rocky areas. So to make sure there's no nicks in it, and yeah, that's it.
You
Yeah,
can't
that's another advantage not using your blade to fluoro. You don't have to worry about having a leader that's like that long.
Yeah, yeah, and especially if you get them, them drums are mixed in. They always take it and run underneath a rock. So there goes your leader. You're
Oh
not
yeah.
gonna have to retie a leader if you get one of them big drums on. So, but,
any thoughts of putting like a willow blade on the eyelet for more flash?
I never thought about it, but I've thrown other types of heads.
Okay.
That one with a blade on it, but not necessarily on the Ned head. I know they make the little blades you can screw into the back of your baits
Yeah.
and swim them like
Yeah,
that.
like for Cincos. Yeah, I've done it on
Yeah.
Cincos and stuff. Yeah.
Personally, I've never thought about it. So
Okay. I just seems like everybody's throwing a blade on everything lately. So
yeah, no, I'm a little slower to catch up with everybody
Yep.
else. So
me too.
I
I'm from New York.
keep it simple. So
Yeah. Oh, I think was it Spike It? I think Spike It's coming out with actually a dip. They finally perfected it. It's coming out
wow.
soon where you can dip your tails in the Z-Man plastic. It's made just for the Z-Man. They've worked
wow.
with Z-Man, but it's coming out real soon. I've asked about it a couple times. But
Yeah, that's something to get a hold of. So
yeah, get that green pumpkin and dip just about a 1/4 inch tail in that yellow like a bluegill.
yeah, I got the pins now when I throw the shaky head.
Yeah.
That's Trisha put me on that as well. She showed me that and it worked like a charm. So
Oh
if
yeah.
I throw the shaky head, I'll put that on there. So
Also works good on crankbaits, just saying.
Now, believe it or not, I don't own one Z-Man product.
wow, what?
0? Come on, man.
Oh,
Not even a chatterbait.
No,
wow.
what? Come on, man.
I make them. I pretty much make my own chatterbaits, and
That's the same bag I got, man. That's funny. That's exactly
That's
the same
all-
bag I got.
That's all my finesse TRDs are in there. So
okay.
And I got spares at home on the wall. So, yep.
yeah, I got a box of spares too. So
Dave says he's caught fish with a willow on the Ned, but not a consistent thing that he does. Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
No, seriously. I mean, I've got, I don't know, 6 jackhammers. 5 now because I lost one in the last tournament.
Oh,
ooh,
But that's all right. I get them at discount tackle, so they're not that bad.
oh okay.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do. Now, Josh, have you used the weed guard just like the regular head with the weed guards? Or I've experimented them off and on, and I mean, it does keep the weeds off it a little bit, but I'm kind of back and forth.
yeah. There's times if those are all that's left at the tackle store, I'll get them and cut the weed guards off. But
Yeah.
I don't like the weed guards. So
Yeah.
the way I fish anyway, it might just be me, is that they don't seem to help enough to,
Yeah.
Trisha's picking on me. I'm going to cry.
She meant to say Ned. Have you
Yeah, I
fishing
know.
a Ned and shaky
Ned.
before you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll fall in love with it. So
I'm going to quit buying fish her stuff.
ooh,
Hey,
No,
Devin. Hey, Devin. Devin's got a good question there,
You need
and I got an answer for him.
Finesse tactics.
Hey, Devin. In fall time, get you the Daracoop little spinner. I think it's like a 1/2 ounce. It looks like just a little lead, like a shad body. It's got a treble hook and a spinner on the back. I fished I think a BFL wild card there, and I caught crappie. I think a largemouth. Caught a spot. I mean, throw that little Daracoop. I think Jackal makes it, but it's a little silver and black Daracoop, and it's like small, but it throws like a bullet because it's 1/2 ounce. So there you go, man. There's your tip.
Evil
Yeah, the
were great.
I like the Evo's has got their connector don't have that little pinch on it. It's just it's like a 2 little ends on it. It don't have the pinch or clasp on it, I guess you'd say.
Ow, son of a gun.
Now we're going to see how to do the braid trick. Oh, I like that color.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth, kid.
Sure.
But no, Devin says thanks, buddy.
Hey, no problem, man. Yeah, try that, man. I like around the barges. That's where I was getting most of my bites. That thing just kind of burn it right under the surface, and I was getting bit left and right. I mean, not all bass, but I was getting bites.
I got another one too. A 1-ounce football head.
Yeah, that too.
That's kind of finesse, isn't it?
Now, there's one tip that's not finesse, but I saw a guy wear them out on it. It was like 40 degrees. It was 3 and 4 foot rollers. It was cold. He was throwing a whopper plopper 90 or 75, and it had a limit, like by 10 o'clock. I was like, on a whopper plopper? Yep, he was.
In 40-degree water?
It was cold that day. That wind was blowing like crazy. But I got a few on that little dare coop. That dare coop's pretty awesome little bait.
All right. So Josh, I think you're going to inspire me to throw that.
Yeah, give it a shot. I mean, go out, throw it. It'll sell itself to you. So.
Yep. Or if you have the wife with you, or your daughter with you,
kids, yeah.
Have him throw that, and then just let it sit there, and they'll take off with it.
Yeah, it'll catch about anything. So.
It will. Anything that swims. It's something close, it'll grab it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
And I've actually used a little, like a micro jig, and used that net as a trailer before, and done pretty good on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've done that.
Yeah.
Not with the Z-Man stuff, but I've used them as a trailer for jigs.
Yeah.
Which is similar to that, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
My buddy made me some net heads with skirts on them.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple companies make those. I see them around, but those are pretty awesome too.
That same skirt color too, by the way. That skirt color doesn't work in New York.
No.
Huh. Ohio River.
That'll get you a 10-incher all day. 112.
11 and a half.
I promise you. I've been there. And it's funny, on the Ohio River, I'm going to say this real quick. I've been in BFLs, and what it is, the guys that get the early draws, they'll race boat ramp to boat ramp trying to catch retreads. That's like number one pattern there. I kid you not. Hey, whatever gets you bit.
Yep.
Right.
Anything else on the net head? I think we covered rod, reel, line, heads, baits,
retrieves. Now, I have tried, I did one tournament, I did the little BFS setup, like the little BFS reel, and I think it's like a 6-foot medium light, and actually that was pretty fun. I used like a 1/10 head, and for smallies, it worked pretty good. I mean, just, I was catching small fish, so it worked. But that was pretty fun, though. I had a ball with that.
Yeah.
I don't think I was using like 4-pound, 6-pound test.
Oh, goodness.
I was living dangerously.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is I got to take my braid, my 5-pound braid off, and put 10-pound fluoro on.
That's what I recommend.
Yeah. Being up there, you're in the rocks and all the mussels, probably so. Yeah, I was in pretty smooth bottom where I was fishing that real light setup, so it worked for me that day.
All right. Did you now, like Lake Erie? Sometimes, I fish Lake Erie around Buffalo area. I don't get over by you. Sometimes the current picks up.
Right.
Okay. Do you still stay with those lighter baits?
The 1/5 is the heaviest I throw. So, yeah. I'm not out when I'm throwing it. I'm not out in the middle of the lake, so I really can't. I really can't speak on that. I'm fishing the rivers, the tributaries, or closer to shore, and that's the heaviest I'll throw. So,
but sometimes that works. That lightweight, the current will kind of take it to the fish, and the fish sitting there and see it go by, and he'll say, "Hey, what's that?" And take it after it. So
just kind of drifts by it, and go get it.
So, kind of natural. Just like something natural come like a cricket or a little crawl. getting carried away by the current. I mean, it's I said, like Josh said, you got to kind of play with your weights sometimes, and one weight will definitely get more bites than another for sure.
Yeah, so if you're, if I'm always pitch it past them, if we're fishing rivers up here, and just kind of let it drift past them, and just kind of like the bait fish would do, and that, tends to work. So,
or throw like at a 45-degree angle upstream and let it kind of carry down. Yeah.
So you're pretty much fly fishing.
Not really, but
under,
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I've learned a lot. Couple things I took out of this was the excellent tip on the fluorocarbon line instead of the braid. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
I fished the St. Lawrence River a lot and never even thought about it.
Yep.
With that light of a lure, how the braid could keep the line up or keep the bait up. So that was huge. 10-pound test. I'd have probably thought 4 to 6, just like we do for smallies over here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never thought going 10 or maybe 12 in a real grassy situation. But no, thank you very much, Josh.
You're welcome.
Even going that 10-pound, you don't really lose that much movement of the bait. Josh tell you it kind of still moves the same. So if you go from 6 to 10, I haven't seen a big difference in getting bites or movements or how the bait reacts. So,
all right. So Josh, what's your favorite homemade cookie?
Probably anything my wife makes.
That's a safe
good answer.
Yeah,
good answer.
She makes great cookies. So
nothing wrong with that.
My wife does too, and either that or she washes my clothing in extra hot water.
or it makes you snickerdoodles. I'll just say that.
I can't do it. I can't do a snickerdoodle.
Oh.
If she makes you snickerdoodles, you're in trouble. Just say it.
All right, Josh. So this is the time we let you take the floor all to yourself and talk about your sponsors, people who have helped you along the way and stuff like that. So have at it.
All right. Well, first of all, my family, they've helped me along the way. They believe in me and let me do this. And without them, I wouldn't be where, out fishing my tournaments and having fun and all that. So I thank them. My sponsors, Hayabusa Fishing, P-Line, Wu Tungsten, Big Joshy Swim Baits. They don't have a pro staff or anything, but I've, had a relationship with them over the years, and they've always supported me. Snooty's Barbecue, if you ever get up around Sandusky, Ohio during the summer, Snooty's Barbecue is the place to go. So, and then all the guys in the Bass Club, I honestly gained my most experience fishing my club tournaments. They've my boater Jason, he's taught me quite a bit. So without him, I probably still wouldn't know how to catch bass most of the time. So a lot of people supported me through the years, and nothing I could say would ever be enough thank you to them. So.
All right.
Good deal, man. Yeah, I know P-Line's got a special, I think they got a special sale coming out next April. So stay tuned. They got some really good deals coming up soon.
Yeah.
That's all I can say right now.
April? That's almost a year away, bro.
Hey, I'm just saying, I got connections. I'll just say that.
I don't know. All right, buddy. Anything else you want to mention or talk about?
No, I appreciate you guys having me on again. It's fun getting on here and talking fishing, and hopefully we'll get out and throw the net and see what Rob and I is talking about. So
hopefully somebody take some Ned fish pictures. I won't mention any names.
You want to hear something funny? I'm terrible about pictures.
It's an art, man. It's an art.
No, I don't take them.
Oh.
Up until last year, I had 0 pictures of me having fish with cold tags in them. It's because I'm in the moment,
Oh, I know.
I'm not going to sit there and go.
Well, see, I have my boater. I'll have a fish up in the MGM coal tags. I have my boater take a picture. I did that at Cumberland last year, and it come out pretty good.
I did that at the Potomac this year.
Yep, that's the best way to do it, and the best time to do it.
Yeah. But all right, but Josh, thank you, your family, for letting us take you away from them for an hour.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
Will do.
All right.
And I hope see you on the water or see you at one of the fishing shows come next year. So
Definitely. Sounds good.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. Good luck rest of your season, man. Good luck.
All right. You guys too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Oh, let's get off of that. There we go. All right. That line I never even thought of.
Yeah, it does make a difference. It does. I've tried them both. I've experimented, and it's hard to get started. Hey, I've been where you're at. I'm like, I'm power fishing. I don't mess with the wimpy rods and the Ned rigs. Yeah, if you're struggling and you don't have nothing in live well at 1 o'clock, you're reaching for a Ned rig.
Now I tell everybody, look, if you see me with a Senko in my hand, that means I'm struggling.
Yep. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. Who do we have tomorrow? Do you know?
Dude, I don't know what I ate for lunch today. I'm that old.
All right. We have Henry Fristick coming on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Got Henry on. That'd be a good one.
Speaking of Hayabusa, he's going to be talking about the Kurt Dove Fish Camp.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Kurt's a great guy. Great guy.
Kurt Dove has a couple fish camps. They're a week long every year for kids. So,
yep.
See if I can sign up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's that?
All right.
Is that a Boyd Duckett hat?
No, it's a fishing boat docks hat.
Oh, okay.
A little different.
Oh.
And James Watson signature on it even.
Oh, you got the signature series.
That's signature. Well, I was just Marshall one time, so then I survived. So I think I was worth that.
All right. Anything else, buddy?
No, I just said, like I said, everybody have people in Louisiana thoughts and prayers. They're going to get hit tonight, I think. And I talked to my mom and dad in Mississippi. They're going to get a lot of winds and rain, but they're ready. So thoughts and prayers out to you guys. Hope everybody's hunkered down or somewhere else.
All right. So everybody, hope you tune in tomorrow night. Learn about the fish camps for kids, and take it easy.
See y'all later. Peace out. All right. There's old Josh still there.
Yep. Why is it ending the stream?